All right, guys, let's talk about shortlisting universities and which kind of a profile you need to build, or according to the profile you have right now, what kind of universities you should start sending out applications to. All right. So it's a very important topic. Of course, this can actually, make, well, this can basically decide what kind of an experience you're going to have when you're going to the US, right? I mean, one university can vary very much from another university, and you need to make sure you factor in all of those facts about the universities from wherever you can. Ask your seniors, ask your mentors, ask your teachers, whoever knows about these things. And accordingly, there's going to be a very different experience for you. Now, I've seen a lot of people asking about these profile evaluations nowadays on Facebook groups, on Yokkit, on basically WhatsApp. Everywhere you go, people are going to ask you, or like it's all over the place. I have so and so GRE score. This is my TOEFL score. I don't know. I wanna shortlist universities, but I have no idea where to start. Could you just help me out here? Select moderate, ambitious, and easy, or whatever universities for me. That's all right, but all these kinds of things are not just done by other people for you. This is something you should do yourself, right? And this is something that can actually potentially change your whole experience. So you don't want to rely on someone else and then blame them later, especially a stranger you're going to find on Facebook or WhatsApp or Yokkit. So you can't really go out and believe them, right? You want to do this all by yourself. And trust me, guys, this process requires intensive research. As much time as you're going to write into, take into writing your SOP, I think you should spend as much time in this process of shortlisting universities, because this is just as important. And you should realize that, because a lot of people are asking on these groups, and then they get disheartened because, dude, those people are not experts on those groups, right? You know that, right? Come on. Those people are not going to give you the expert opinion. Even consultancies are not experts. And even if they are, they don't have your best interest at heart. They're going to send you to universities which can basically get them money, that can basically benefit them. They're all about themselves, trust me. That's why I am really, I'm just against consultants, and I detest them, especially when it comes to, shortlisting universities. You're paying them, and they're just thinking of their own good more than they're thinking of your good. They'll probably give you a survey. You have to probably, answer a few questions, write your first draft yourself, and then they'll take it all over from there. But still, no one knows you better than yourself. I can put in links that can help you out so much for SOP and everything. I'm going to make a video on it very soon, and I know it will be helpful for you. And I know how basically, people have no idea how to start, and I know how to make sure that you get 10 steps ahead on that. But that's a topic for another video. Let's talk about profile evaluation today. So how should you evaluate your own profile and make sure that you're getting into the best universities you can, best programs you want to. So let's look at that. All right. First criteria, of course, there is a criteria of your GRE score. This will matter, definitely. This is, don't think of GRE as like, like a threshold you have, like, sorry, as like a score that you can get, and then, you can get into the top universities. Like when I got like a score of 329, a lot of people started coming to me and saying, dude, what else do you want now? You can get into the top 10 universities just on the basis of your GRE score. And that is so wrong, because there's probably like nothing farther from truth. GRE is looked upon as a criteria for rejection by the admission committee, as compared to a criteria for acceptance. They'll see that you cross this minimum threshold on this exam, and then you're good to go. Now, this different universities might have different values for this threshold. I mean, the top 10 universities might have this high a threshold, whereas some universities which are ranked around 50 might have this high you know threshold. But you can't really just depend on your GRE score. GRE score is just one thing on your profile. It's just a number, and you cannot really go about depending on it. People at the admissions committee are going to reject your application if your GRE score is not at par with that threshold. And And if it is, even if you have like a GI score of 335 or 339 even, it wouldn't matter at all. I mean, it would matter, but it wouldn't just get you into the university on the basis of that GRE score. So stop thinking of your GRE score as something that can potentially get you into a university of your choice. All right, let's look at the second part here. Of course, your TOEFL or your IELTS score does matter as well. So let's write that down. Now, again, like I said, this is even more of a threshold than your GI score. I mean, your GI score, if it is like around 335 or something, like professors might remember it because that is exceptional. But, you know, a TOEFL score or an IELTS score, that is basically just threshold. And while it can get you into, teaching assistantships and a lot of other things when you go to the US, like, for funding, it's not going to be impacting your application as much. So as much as basically, serving as a threshold, that's all that it does. Okay, so do not think of these scores as all you need to get into the university of your choice. Let's look at the next thing over here. That's, of course, your work experience. Now, a lot of people might, dislike me for saying this, but the bare truth is that if your application stands on a pile and there's another application next to it, and both of these applications are exactly the same, and you have like that person has like 2 years of work experience or 3 years of work experience at potentially international Fortune 500 company, chances are that that person is going to take the one seat that the college has for you. Now, that does depend, but if your profiles are exactly the same, work experience is going to matter, and work experience can potentially get you into the university of your choice, even if you have a low GRE score or a low TOEFL score. But again, the point of this video is not to show you that this is the one, like any one of these criteria can get you into the university. It's that a combination of these will get you in, but again, just one of these or two of these, being strong on that won't potentially matter if you're weak on something else. Like, consider all of these as thresholds. If you have a work experience of over 1 year, it's going to be counted, for you. It's not going to be against you, at least. It's going to be for your betterment, right? Now, a lot of people have different kinds of work experience. A lot of people are just entering the universities as soon as their bachelor's ends. I know I am doing that. I'm in the same position as you guys, so I'm in the same boat. You don't have to worry about that. But, work experience is something that can help you. Again, I have like a work experience of about, I think, 8, 9 months at least. I think maybe a year, somewhere in between that, due to my internships that I did during college. But again, I do not have any work experience where I was basically working a job. That wasn't a job, that was an internship, and that matters. That there's a difference. There's a line which separates these two. And of course, some admission committees might look at the internships as as good as the jobs. But again, that depends on how well you can explain what you did at the job, like basically what was your part in it and how it helped you get better, right? So let's look at the next criteria here. And the next criteria is, of course, research. Now, this is so important, if especially if you're targeting a research-based program like master's or PhD with a thesis option, and you're going for the top 10, 15, 20 universities. If you don't have research on your profile, it's going to be really hard to get you into those universities. Now, don't dislike this video for saying that, but that's true. And I've read a lot on Quora. I've read like things that professors have wrote themselves on Reddit, and I've read a lot, and I've actually talked to my mentor about this as well. And he's some really used NASA expert. He's been teaching in the universities for over, I think, 50 years or so. He's like out of this world, different person. But all of them said that having research on your profile can potentially bias the admissions committee towards you as compared to someone else who has a similar profile but does not have a research experience. He might even have a better GRE score or something. But if you have research on your profile and you're targeting a research based program, that's a huge plus point for you. While if you are not targeting a research-based program, research might not matter, but professors still like to think that you can do something for the university. And if you have research on your profile, you can contribute to their work, and that's how you can contribute to the university. That's why they think that having research on their profile just puts the applicant above, right? It doesn't have to be very top level research, but if you do have some good papers, it's going to help you in the long run, especially if you're applying to the universities. It would. Okay. The next criteria is, of course, I wrote down internships that was in work experience, then GRE, of course, your CGPA, that matters, right? Come on, we all know that CGPA does matter, and not just the CGPA, but your institute, the one you obtained that CGPA from, matters as well. So if you have a CGPA above 8, 8.5, that's going to do wonders for you, because some colleges, some universities such as USC or the other of the like, I've heard at least that they are very GPA centric, and it's easy to get into these kind of universities if you have a good record on your profile. If you can show them that yeah, you can cope up with this course and you're among the top 5-10% of your class, they're going to prefer you over some other student who might not be able to bear the kind of the stress that comes with masters or PhD. These degrees are very very harsh. They can be harsh for, especially for a student who's been used to studying in India. The pattern is totally different over there, and if you are kind of not able to cope with the Indian pattern of studies, well, they doubt that you'll be able to cope up with the US education system as well. So that's why CGPA is again one important factor that you need to take a look at, right? Next, you have your social service. Well, the US, especially, is very, very, let's say, biased about applicants who have social service on their profile, especially from one or two different organizations. If you're donating blood, if you're teaching students in the slums, if you're doing anything for, uh, any kind of social service basically, that's going to help you in on your application as well, because the thing that you can contribute over there as well, and well, if you're a socially sensual person, if you respect your society, well, that's a plus point for you. That's going to look good on your profile. The next part is having strong statement of purposes. I'm going to make a separate video on this because this topic requires a lot of research, and I've done a lot of research and I want to share that with you guys, and I'll make that video soon, I promise. I'm actually in the process of writing my statement of purpose right now, so I'm gathering more and more points. So I'm going to make sure that I put in everything into that single video, right? But again, consider SOP as something that can make or break your profile. This is literally very, very important, and you need to do this right, right? So let's look at the next criteria now, and that is your letter of recommendation. You have to like submit 3 letters of recommendations for most universities if you're going for a master's degree in the US or even PhD. Mostly three recommendation letters do it. Now these recommendation letters should come from people who know you well, but more than that, if they are from people who are well known in the field, it's going to look very good on your profile. Now most people are from tier 2 or tier 3 colleges. If you're watching this video, it's going to be very hard for you to find someone who's well known in the field, because well, such people are in the tier 1 universities in India, at least in IITs or NITs or triple ITs or something like that. But don't get disheartened here. A good LOR can still supersede that. Sometimes, well, you have a chance to take a look at the LOR, or sometimes even if you don't, like, go with professors you can trust, who are good with deadlines, who can basically make sure that your profile gets in, that your recommendation letter gets in as soon as it is needed to. Sometimes you're going to be submitting the applications as soon as you're nearing the deadlines, and well, it's very important for such people to be prompt at that time, and you cannot go with a professor you cannot trust. One thing here, among these three LORs, two should be from your, if you're, at least if you're in college, two should be from your university, like people you trust at the university, professors, and one should be from your internships, or whoever kind of managed you directly during the internship. That's going to be a huge plus point for you. Okay. Now build some strong LORs. I suggest like take a good look at people you are considering. Like they should be good writers, and if you can do that, well, you're good to go. I think I've covered just about everything. One more thing here. Projects. Projects matter a lot as well. And it's not so much as building good projects, but also as depicting them properly. You should be able to show your projects. Like my projects, all of them, like at least 70-80% of them have a demo, and they're uploaded on AWS, on some other site. So you can just go and click on the project link, and you can check out what the project really does. And that's a huge plus point. I mean, you can see that the project has been built, and you can see its code on my GitHub. You can actually see the project working. It's live. Everything is, you know, clear. They have to trust you then, right? You built the project and it's working, so they just trust you a lot more as compared to a student who's just saying that yeah, he basically built a neural network, but there's nothing to show for it, right? Don't do that. Try to depict your projects online. Try to show what they can do, right? So be as transparent as you can about your application. Okay, so these are just a few pointers. Now you might have seen this website a lot. This is US News. They're going to rank the universities from, this is for MS in US, by the way, and that to computer science particularly. These are the universities for computer science. If you are a computer science undergrad, or if you're thinking of going for something like that, so you can actually take a look at this list. This is actually good, but don't get carried away by this list. This is not the end of the world. It's as much a problem as it is a solution to your problems. So don't really just go by this list. You have to consider a lot of factors here. If you want to know what factors you should consider, you can go check out my shortlisting universities video. It's going to give you some amazing insights into how you can really build up your everything better. You should have everything planned out. One more thing that I forgot to mention is you should try to make a stellar resume. If you don't have it yet, work on it. Like take 1 or 2 days, gather all of your whatever you have done, whatever your achievements are, whatever if you've led a project, mention it over there. Everything should be crystal clear on your resume. Like I can show you my resume, and please don't ask me for the template because it's not really built on Microsoft Word, so that won't really work anyway. But I'm not sure it's working. Let's show it to you offline, I guess. Maybe it will work. Okay, it's working. Yeah, so this is my website again. You can take a look at my resume, how I have structured things. If you want me to make a video on resumes, basically how to really make a good one, you can ask me in the comments down below, and I'll do that. So here's a look at my resume. Like it's concise and clear. You can see all of the contact details are mentioned above. Then there's basically two columns. One is basically just telling you my education, my skills, my projects. Now I have done a lot of projects, and I couldn't really fit all of them in just this much space. But I wanted a one-page resume, and I think you should have one too. Like only one-page resume if you are somewhere with at least 5-6 years of experience, like under below it. If you have more than 6-7 years of experience, sure, build a two-page one. But hopefully you should have a one-page resume if you're below that, right? Now you can just take a look at my resume. It's clearly structured, and it's kind of well, good to look at, right? And that's what you want. You want people to look at your resume, and they should still be able to want to look at it for some more time. So that's what a good design can do for you, right? Again, if you have, like, according to the profile you have, according to these characteristics, like all of these, a combination of these will get you into the universities, but only a few of these probably won't. So if you are somewhere in your first year, second year, try to maybe make sure work on all of these equally well. And if you're in the process of applying, well, then start shortlisting universities. And if you are not good in one or two of these, like one or two are just really bad, like you might not have research or work experience at all, well, then just skip the top 10 universities. Start looking from under here, 11, 12, 13. All of these are good universities, right? So at least the top 50 universities in the US for computer science, they are good universities. and you should really consider these. And that's I think all I have to share for this video. If you have anything more to add to these 10 points, you can basically, just comment down below. I think I have tried to cover as much of it as I could. But really, if you are building a strong profile, try to build it, try to be strong on all of these fronts. I hope this video helps you out. And again, do like and subscribe to the do like this video, subscribe to the channel if this video helped you out. I'll see you in the next one.